Let's talk about time travel. Time travel is a very famous feature of Snowflake. In Snowflake, time travel lets you access data that has been modified or deleted by querying previous versions of a table or a database at any point within the retention period. Okay, up to 90 days, depending on the Snowflake additions. Okay, the retention period define how long the Snowflake keeps the historical data, enabling you to use this feature for things like data recovery, debugging, or auditing. Now let's dive into three methods which you can use to query data from specific time in the past using the time travel feature. First is querying data using time travel with an offset. Okay, the first method of querying historical data is to use an offset. The offset actually represents a time difference from the current timestamp expressed in seconds. This method is great if you want to query data from a fixed amount of time in the past. Okay, the syntax for this is at offset, and then we will mention the number of seconds by which we want to go back. Second is querying data using a specific timestamp. This is the another method of using timestamp. Okay, and it is like to query data as it was at a specific timestamp. This method is helpful if you know the exact point in time you want to refer to, like the precise moment when the data was last modified or a known change occurred. Okay, the select query will be looking like that you can mention before and even after as well, and you can mention timestamp, and this is how you can query and do time travel using specific timestamps. Third is querying data using a query ID. Sometimes you want to look at a state of data before a specific SQL statement was executed, right? Snowflake actually allows you to do that as well, okay, by referencing the query ID. So query ID refers to the unique identifier assigned to every SQL query executed in the Snowflake. Okay, and this is the sample select statement how you can use the query ID to perform time travel. Okay, the keyword is a statement and you can mention the query ID here. It is unique throughout your Snowflake account. Cool. If we discuss about time travel use cases, time travel provides invaluable benefits in a variety of real world scenarios like recovering data, audit and compliance purposes, data corrections, and even business intelligence and analytics purposes. You can read the more details here. And now let's talk about the important considerations for time travel. First, a most important consideration of time travel is the retention period. Snowflake only retains the historical data up to 90 days. That's where you can only do time travel for up to 90 days. Second is cost. Time travel does incur cost for maintaining historical data versions. Be mindful for that as well because you are creating versions in your storage, so it will incur you additional storage cost. Third is data modification and time travel. Time travel allows you to access data as it was at any point in time, but it won't be able to recover dropped objects like tables, schemas after the retention period has passed. Let's now see time travel in action. I am on my Snowflake, and first thing first, I will create a database, a schema and table, and I will insert some dummy entries. I will say control enter. And perfect. I had inserted the records inside my employee salary table. I will comment this out so that you can use when you are querying. And first thing, it is just for my purpose. What I am going to do is I am just going to set a parameter which will just record the time before I am going to create disasters in your screen. Okay, so I just want to record it and it will be much beneficial for me. Just a current timestamp. So I will store my current timestamp inside this variable. Now, as I had stored it, it's the time to create disasters in Snowflake. Okay. First thing what I will do, I will run an update script without any condition. Okay. I will simply say update employee salary stat salary is equal to, let's say, 99999. Before that, let's query the employee salary table as well. So I will say select star from the table and let's see what are the current values inside my employee salary. As of now, I am having three records and I am seeing distinct salaries for these employees. It's the time to create the disaster and I will just run this update script. Okay, I had ran the update script. Now I will again query my table. And see guys, now I had messed up the data by updating the table without any condition, right? So now I need to do time travel, right? Because this is unacceptable. If anyone else see, they might raise an incident or concerns on that. So it's the very time that I should go, and before anyone notice, I should do the time travel. So I will say select star from my employee salary, and I want to retain my data. That's why I had stored that current timestamp inside a variable. But in your case, if you hadn't stored it, that's fine. There is nothing on that. You can just mention at timestamp, and then you need to mention the actual timestamp. Let's say you want to retrieve the data as per yesterday, so you can mention the yesterday date and time. But as I am having my variable, so I will just pass my variable here. And if I will do the select star, I should be able to see my data, which was before this one. So see guys, now I am able to see the data. This is how we can use at function, and at function is very specific for the timestamp. It will give you the data at the exact timestamp. But if you don't know the exact timestamp, you still can get your data using before function. So if I run this, it will give me the data before this timestamp. This is the one way to retrieve the data using time travel. Another way is using the offset. If you just ran the query and you don't want to go with the time travel, you know that I just ran this thing and the disaster happened, let's say just 5 minutes back. Okay, so you can simply say select star from employee salary at, you can mention a function called offset. Okay, and it will also give you the data. I just want to get the offset, let's say 2 minutes back. So I will say 60 into 2 because it's in seconds. If I run this, I should be able to see the data 60 minutes back. So 60 minutes back, it was 9999 only. So I need to go more back. Let's say go 4 minutes back. And see guys, now I got the data. So if you know timestamp, that's okay. But if you don't know that, no problem. You can still use the offset and go back in time. There is one more which you can use, that is statement. Okay, so you can do that. I will just write a select for you. You can just try that as well. Select star from employee salary, and you can say before, and inside that you can mention statement. And here you need to mention the statement. Okay, let me go to my query history. For that, I will go to monitoring and I will click on query history. Here you can see the query ID, which is nothing my statement. So I will go to the update statement, which I had ran. Once I click there, I can see my query ID. I can just copy paste my query ID from here, and I will go to my worksheet again. And inside this, I will copy paste my query, and if I run this, I should be able to see the data. This is how time travel works. Let me show you one more thing. Suppose you accidentally dropped the table. Okay, you want to drop some other table, but due to some typo issue, you accidentally drop the table. In many other data warehouse solutions, you cannot do anything. You just need to refresh from the production back to your environment. But inside Snowflake, we have undrop function. So I will say undrop table employee salary. So I will not run this. Okay, first I will try to query this employee salary table. If this is the query, because I had dropped it, if I query the table, I should be able to see object does not exist. Now if I again click on undrop and run this query, it ran successfully. Now if I try to run the select star, I should be able to see my data back. This is how time travel works. Let's discuss about cost of time travel. Time travel is not free. While there is no extra fee for the feature, you pay for the storage of the historical data. If we talk about storage calculation, Snowflake uses 24-hour averages to calculate storage. When you update a row, Snowflake does not copy the whole table. It only stores the before image of the changed micropartitions. Next is churn impact. Tables with high DML, like frequent updates or deletes, will accrue significantly higher time travel cost because more historical micropartitions are being preserved for that data, right? And third is fail-safe transition. This is not in your hand, but you can request to Snowflake to retrieve your data It is not something which you can do. It is something which Snowflake support can do on behalf of you. Once the time travel expires, data moves to the fail safe for 7 days. You are built for storage in both the stages, either in time travel, either in fail safe. If we talk about time travel availability, in standard edition, the time travel availability is maximum of 1 days, but in all the other editions, you can set a time travel availability from 0 to 90 days.